if you check around, probably you're seeing your news, there will always be a woman crying. Either she has been raped, either her position has been taken because she's a woman, either she went for an interview and she was dropped off just because she was a woman. In school, we will see our girls, either they're always there's a tear. Every day when we see a woman crying and nothing is done about it, then we can be certain tomorrow the future is going to be very difficult, because the woman carries the burden of her husband, of her children, of the society, of a nation. So my inspiration, I would say, is a tear in a woman's eye. My name is Patricia Mwema. I'm the managing director of a company called Africa Nesia International. We are based in Nairobi, Kenya, and actually we are a training and consultancy firm which majors on security trainings, and also the managing director of an NGO called Mission of Help Association that deals with women and children and girl-child empowerment. So basically what we do is that we empower women on how to be to understand themselves, strengthen themselves. That could be financially, physically, and also emotionally. You will agree with me that an empowered woman is an asset to the society, because she bears the load of herself, her family, her children, and also a nation as a whole. First and foremost, we do security trainings across the African region, including Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, and Malawi. Now, we have narrowed down to women in security particularly because we believe there is a need for the woman and the girl child to be empowered as a whole. Most of the time, when we read out the stories in our nation, in our newspaper, everywhere, you will always find that there is a place where the girl child or the woman has been left behind. Either it is an assault, either it is a rape, either it is a killing of a woman, either probably it is battering in the household or as a wife. So basically why Africa Nesia and myself have opted to venture into women in security is because there is a huge need for our women to be empowered. And that means both physically, emotionally, and also financially. If you look at the woman as a whole, you will find most of the time we have many questions of why women, why women? There is always someone who is talking about women. It is because women are vulnerable. If you send out a boy child to the shop and also a girl, most of the time as a mother or as a wife, you will be very concerned about the girl. Why? Either because she will have someone probably calling her, and if she doesn't respond to the call, probably she's called so many weird names, probably a slut, or someone will want to grab her body, grab her. So basically, why we are into women is because the women are vulnerable, and this is the best time to start talking about women. Before, as a tradition in Africa, we have not talked about women, what they face, their struggles, their challenges. But right now, as we are moving on and the world is changing, then all the more we need to talk about women. Now, the training actually depends on the need of the person or the woman. For example, if a woman has been battered, of course the training will take longer because there's an emotional bit of it, there's a psychological bit of it. So it can vary from 1 day to 1 month to a whole even 1 year. So it depends with the need of that particular person. Say, for example, if we want to train women who are in the corporate world, their training could take probably 5 days because they have been in the field. But the woman who is in the village, who is not literate. The training can take even months or even a year, and after that we carry them along. So it can also be a long-term journey, not just a one-day journey. It can be a long-term journey. What we do most of the time, we do physical trainings, which involves theory, classwork, on-site trainings, virtual, Zoom trainings. But most physical trainings, like the taekwondo, how to defend yourself, we partner with other bodies that come and train our women on that area. Right now, as we speak, I'm a member of the Women in Safety Excellence body, which is basically purely for women, whereby we have police officers, inspector generals. We have people who are in the security field who will come and talk about and train our women. It could be the physical bit, it can be the psychological bit. Yes. So actually, the training varies. There's a person who needs a physical training. We will take you through that. There's someone else who needs a psychological training. We will take you through that. There's someone who needs emotional training. We will take you through that. There's someone who needs just to be empowered. You understand yourself as a woman. You don't have to go there and fight. But if you're emotionally empowered, physically empowered, you know, I'm a woman, then we also train you on that. Because not all the time you will use your strength to fight, because most of us women, our bodies may not be that strong, but we can fight in other ways, by speaking up, by being strong, by understanding our place as a woman in the society. So the fighting could be different. Now, something that we pride ourselves as Africa Nesia is that we have come out and first talked about a woman, and we say a woman is vulnerable. Two, we see the women that we have talked to, the women that we have trained, coming out and now believing in themselves and being ready to take up their positions as women. We've also done trainings for the corporate women who have now begun understanding that we can take up positions in the leadership ladder. So as Africa Nesia, we pride ourselves in seeing the women, beginning from the small girls in school all up to the women in the leadership arena taking up their position. Right now, as we speak, Kenya is going to be having our elections. We are now gathering women who want to vie for the position, telling them why they need to be empowered, what is their security position, how they can take up whatever words are thrown at them, how they can be secure out there, because most of the time a woman is twice likely to be targeted, unlike a man. I'm not saying we don't love our men. Our men are good, they're strong, they take care of us, but a woman needs to know and understand her position and also empower herself. So we are very glad about that. And just the other day, Africa Nesia was involved in a huge worldwide campaign on sex for marks and marks for sex, which has also opened our eyes to know that women in our schools are twice as vulnerable as unlike our men counterparts. They are forced to have sexual relations with probably the lecturers, so that they are able to be, their marks are upgraded. So basically, as Africa Nesia, we pride ourselves in taking our role as a women empowerment crusader and campaigner. And when we see change from one life, one woman, then we know we are making progress. As long as you are changing one life at a time, we are certain that tomorrow is bright. Where we see ourselves in 10 years is hopefully having a huge training center where we bring in women from all walks of life, not only in Kenya, but all over the East and the Central and the whole of African region. We also see ourselves grooming more women who can take up our voice, because of course we will not be here for the rest of our lives. So we see ourselves grooming other women champions who can speak up, who can voice their opinion without necessarily feeling that they are less of a voice. And we also intend to have more women in leadership who can now speak up and say, women, this is not right. It could be in the leadership position, the politician, the lawyers, the judges, the housewives, and even the women in school. So in 5 or 10 years, we see ourselves creating a huge impact for the women in the society. My inspiration comes from seeing a tear. This is a bit personal for me. For seeing a tear in a woman. We can see it in the Daily Nation, Daily News. We see it in the media all the time. If you check around, probably you're seeing your news, there will always be a woman crying. Either she has been raped, either her position has been taken because she's a woman, either she went for an interview and she was dropped off just because she was a woman. In school, we will see our girls, either they're always there's a tear. Either they were chased out of school because probably they're having their periods, they don't have the pad, and the teacher doesn't understand why they were late in school. So there's always a tear in a woman's eye. In her home, probably she did not cook well and the husband has a bad day and he beats her up. There's always a tear. So my inspiration is from the tear I see in the woman's eye, and that motivates me to make a change. It may not come off today, but with progress, gradually, I believe we will see a change. But for now, I will keep doing my bit, I will keep playing my role, I will keep speaking up until we have a change one day. One day at a time, I believe we will see less and less of tears in a woman's eye. Because every day when we see a woman crying and nothing is done about it, then we can be certain tomorrow the future is going to be very difficult, because the woman carries the burden of her husband, of her children, of the society, of a nation. So my inspiration, I would say, is a tear in a woman's eye.